And welcome to the XMetaL Author Enterprise 10.0 webinar. This is our demo webinar where we show you the new stuff that's available in XMetaL 10. If you are not here to see the XMetaL webinar, or if this is not where you intended to go, now is your chance to bail before we leave the gate. I hope that you can all see me and hear me and see my slides. Everything looks to be okay on my end, but I'm running this show by myself, so hopefully everything will go smoothly. Just a little bit of bookkeeping. We are recording this webinar, and so you will be able to see a recording of the webinar after we finish this. I'll mail out a link to everybody with the information on how to download the webinar and view the recording, and hopefully I'll also be able to send out a copy of the PowerPoint slides, although they're not going to be terribly exciting. So what we're going to see today is just a few slides to run down a brief list of the new some of the interesting new features in XMetaL Author. I'll be doing some demos of the individual features, and I'll probably have plenty of time at the end for any questions that you might have. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So of course we released XMetaL Author Enterprise, it's been several weeks ago now, and so this is just a recap of some of the new features that you're going to see if you download XMetaL Author Enterprise 10. First on the list, a feature that we call the Text Case Assistant. This is modeled after features that you've seen in other word processing software, and the idea basically is to change the text in some text that you have highlighted to one of several types of capitalization. There's three ways to access this assistant. You can either do it by the right-click menu, or the formatting toolbar, or the keyboard shortcut Control F3. Now I'm going to switch right over to start jumping into doing some demos and show you some examples of how to do what I just said. So here, of course, is XMetaL Author 10. For those of you who are familiar with XMetaL already, this will look completely familiar. The overall interface has not changed. For those of you who are new to XMetaL Author, I kind of need to apologize that I'm not going to be really introducing you to the tool. My presentation today is pretty much going to assume that you know what's going on. But if you have questions about what you see, please feel free to either ask in the question box or follow up with me afterwards, and I'll be happy to help out in any way I can. So here's some examples of what you can do with the Text Case Assistant. So basically this is about highlighting some text and changing the capitalization. So if you've got a sentence highlighted and you right-click on that sentence, then on the right-click menu you've got Text Case and several choices that you can change it to. So Sentence Case in this case is going to be exactly what it already was, which is with the first letter capitalized. Lowercase means lowercase the entire selection. Uppercase means uppercase the entire selection. These are really pretty obvious. Maybe I shouldn't even bother. Capitalize each word. Toggle case, which essentially switches the case of every single letter in the selection. And then back to sentence case. Now we also have the same commands available on the formatting menu. As I mentioned on the slide, these buttons are not enabled by default. There's a switch you have to go to in some user preferences to turn that on, and that's documented in the help. But these buttons do the same thing as the commands on the right-click menu that I just showed you. I think the easiest way to access these features is with the keyboard shortcut myself, and that's Control F3. So as I press Control F3 several times, here's once. So that made it lowercase, and here's again. That made it all uppercase, and here's again, and that made it back to sentence case. So as you can see, this cycles through a few of the choices, but not all of the choices. There are a couple of choices that are less commonly used, and so they're not in the quick keyboard shortcut method. Now the sentence case option, by the way, is only going to be applied if you have what XMetaL detects to be a sentence. Basically, that means a period at the end of the selection. If you just select some text that doesn't have a period, then sentence case is not in the list of choices that get cycled through. So here's one per word, and another Control F3 gives you all lowercase. another one gives you all uppercase, and another one gives you capital per word again, title case. So sentence case is left out of the rotation in this case. All right, so that's the text case assistant. Next up, an exciting new feature that we have available is bidirectional authoring, and essentially this means that you're able to create XML content in any of the right-to-left languages that are out there in the world. And I just have, I don't have any language packs installed in my system, so I can't really do proper right-to-left authoring on my via my Windows, but I can at least view what this document looks like in XMetaL. This is just a sample document that has some bits of content in Hebrew, Arabic, and Persian. So you can see that that stuff is formatted right to left, and if you versus the English, which is formatted left to right. And you can see that if you type in, well, you can't see because you don't know what I'm doing, but if you press the arrow keys, they work what feels to me backwards. If you do selections or work with the mouse, they work what appears to be backwards. If you type, then the letters go in what appears to be backwards as well. This this capability is controlled by attributes in the markup. If I click in the Arabic section and show you the actually that's not going to be there. If I show you the attributes on the whole document, you can see that the document has a direction attribute set to be RTL, which specifies that this document is a right to left facing document. But then this individual paragraph in the middle of the Hebrew section has an override attribute set to be left to right, the LRO value for the dir attribute. Similarly, the section that this English text is contained in has a direction attribute set to be left to right. Sorry, I just had some hands up that there wasn't any audio available. I hope that has been fixed. I don't. It was only from one person, so I'm assuming that everything worked out okay. If everything is not okay, I'm trying to. Okay, people are saying audio, so people are saying they have the audio, so that's good. Okay. So that's basically it for right-to-left text. If you have language packs installed that let you work with languages like this in Windows, then those will interact just in the way that you expect with the authoring tool. Next feature that we're kind of excited about, although it's kind of an introductory level feature at this point, is Schematron validation. So we've had a lot of people asking for this over the years, and we're glad that we finally got our toes in the water here. Schematron is a language for performing additional validation external to the normal XML validation that XMetaL can apply. And what we have now is the ability to apply a Schematron rule, Schematron, which is a set of rules, to the active document, meaning the document that you have open in the editor and in the front, and report the results of that Schematron in a simple dialog window. So I have one example that I can show you of what that looks like. So here's an example of a simple DITA topic, and it just so happens that I have a note here. Let me turn my tags on so you can see. I have a note here that contains 2 paragraphs inside the note. So let's suppose that I have a business rule that says that my notes in my topics are never allowed to contain more than 1 paragraph. Well, that's not something you can validate with the ordinary DITA DTDs. So that's something we can write a Schematron business rule for. And so I've done that, and let's see if I can find that here. I just want to show you what the Schematron looks like. And of course it's not there. That would be too easy. Let's find it here. So here's what the Schematron rule looks like. And I know you don't want to see code, and the code doesn't really matter, but I just want you, for those of you who do know what Schematron looks like, I want to show you that this is just a really simple Schematron rule that does a test to see if the number of paragraphs inside of a note is equal to, or is greater than 1, and if it is, then it will report an error message that says that there is a note that contains more than 1 paragraph. So a simple rule. Now I'm going to apply that rule to this document. So we have a command on the Tools menu to apply a Schematron, and I probably have this already selected since I have used it before recently, but I'll select the one I have just shown you. Notes have a single paragraph, and hit the Validate button. And voila, there's the message that says there is a note with more than 1 paragraph. Now, if I delete one of these paragraphs, run the same Schematron rule again. Whoops. Oh, forgot you have to save the document because this works. This opens the document from disk to have a look at it. Sorry, let's run that again. Validate and say OK, and I get no error message. Now it is possible to set up your Schematron rule so that you get a message in the case of no errors as well. You can set it up either way. I just didn't happen to put an error message into my Schematron rule in this case, so I got a blank dialog for that result. So that's basically it. We're looking forward to getting feedback from customers on this one as to what you would really like to see, so that we can really develop this to its full potential. By the way, the level of support for Schematron that we have is ISO Schematron 2006. There is a newer version of Schematron in existence, but there didn't seem to be sufficient libraries that we could find for working under Windows under .NET. So our level of support at this point is for Schematron 2006. Okay, next up, there's a feature that we call DITA reuse refactoring, which doesn't really mean anything to anyone in the DITA world, but that's kind of our internal title for it. What it basically means is, if you think about the operation of inserting a keyword with a key ref, presumably when you select some text in your document and decide that you're going to make this a reusable chunk, then it's common to also want to search through your entire DITA map, maybe find all the other places where that text occurs, and possibly replace those other occurrences of that text throughout your DITA map with a similar reusable object, or with a similar reference to a reusable object. And so essentially that's what this feature is about. So it works two ways. I only mentioned keyword with keyref on the slide because that's what I'm going to demo today. But for those of you who are familiar with our with XMetal's specific reusable components feature, this also works with creating a text-based reusable component. So let's see what it looks like with inserting a keyword by keyref. So I'm going to open a different map here. So this map is one of our sample. This is actually one of our sample DITA samples that we include with XMetal, so you have access to these samples yourselves. So this is some documentation about an imaginary software tool that works with doing time and date calculations. And so I just opened one of the topics so you can see that actually the word calculation occurs a million times throughout this DITA map. So let's suppose, as a bizarre, unlikely case, that I wanted to make the word calculation a reusable word within my map. So I'm going to say, let's insert a new key, or a new key definition with a keyword, and so I'll give the key a name, and I'll type the text that I want to be made into my reusable string. Now, this dialog actually has been in XMetal forever, as long as we've had key support. But what's new is the checkbox at the bottom here that says "Find other candidates." So that's the new important access to this new feature. So I'll check that box, and what that's going to do is it's going to introduce a search to let me find all the other occurrences of the word calculation, basically. So this is very similar to our user-based find in files operation, except that we restrict this to searching specifically for the case of what we're looking for right here, which is the text calculation. So I've checked the boxes for match case and match whole words only. I did match case because I don't want to look for words that are at the beginning of a sentence. And I did match whole words only because I didn't want to get the word calculations included in my list either. So just to verify that, okay, so we're good. So you see it's finding a bunch of results for the word calculation, and this brings up the regular old XMetaL results window for the results of search, and you can see that there are a number of topics that have been found with that word in it. And what I can do now is I have the option of going through and selecting the items that I want to have replaced with a reusable chunk. And so I just randomly select a few calculations throughout this throughout the topics, and then I'm going to hit the apply button here, which is going to apply the change that I'm asking for to all of the checked items. And by the way, you can see what it's about to do is it's about to replace that text with a phrase element, which is exactly what you would do if you were going to be setting up con key refs to do this. So this is going to be a phrase element with a con key ref that's pointing to the newly created referenced keyword. So hit apply. This is going to go through my topics and make my changes. And by the way, I also had a preference setting that caused XMetaL to actually open the topics that it was changing as it was changing them. That's an optional setting during our find and replace operation that affords you the opportunity to do an undo, basically, if you have changed something that you didn't mean to change. But so you can see down here in the results window that the items that I had checked have turned blue or cyan, and to indicate that they had been changed. So I can go to those locations in my document and see the change that was made. And there you can see. Let's just look at. Let's just inspect this in some detail here. You can see that if I switch this to showing local, if I switch this to show local content, what? Oh, no. It's already there. Sorry. So you can already see that this phrase element has a key ref on it, which is referring to my key, and that my key, of course, is contains the keyword. So there's the keyword that's getting referenced to by this reference, and I had two in a row in the same sentence there. That's these two here. Okay, so that's it. So imagine that working with, as I said, as well with XMetal's reusable components feature for text as well, and that's the idea. Nope. Okay. All right. So next up, I do want to run through. So of course, maybe the most exciting feature for people who are interested in DITA is that we have support for DITA 1.3. So I'm going to run through a number of and show you a number of the sort of visible places where DITA 1.3 exists in XMetaL. But here's a brief list of what we're going to look at. Basically, we have the DTDs for DITA 1.3 included, as well as what's new for us with DITA with XMetaL is that we also have the DITA 1.3 schemas available. So thanks to some customer requests, we have added support. We have added the schema version for the first time with XMetaL 10. So let's see. I don't need this map anymore. But okay, so first of all, in order to so to get started with DITA 1.3 with XMetaL, it is important to set your DITA preference. I think we still default when you install XMetaL 10, we default this to be set to use DITA 1.2. So if you want to use the DITA 1.3 DTDs, you do need to come into the DITA options and set your version to 1.3. So that's the first step. Just wanted to let you know that that's there. As long as I'm in here, I need to have a topic open. So let me open a topic. So as long as I was in here, which I'm not anymore, but let's go back in here. And so I also wanted to show that that the hide and show domains is now updated with all of the new domains that are available in DITA 1.3. So markup domain, for example, mathml domain, these are new in DITA 1.3. SVG domain, the XML mention domain, these are all new domains in DITA 1.3, and so you can hide and show these domains now just the same as you could with all the domains that were present in earlier versions of DITA with earlier versions of XMetaL. So that's there. There's new stuff on the insert menu. Again, with the new domains that are available in DITA 1.3, we have new commands on the menu for inserting those items in XMetaL. And of course, those elements will appear naturally in the element list and the new attributes in the attribute inspector as well. I believe this division menu is new for XMetaL 10, and some of these elements are new with DITA 1.3, for example. So there's new stuff on the insert menu that covers the new stuff in DITA 1.3. We also have new document templates for those of you who are, I guess this excludes those of you who are working with content management systems, but for those of you who work from the file system, we do have new document templates for all of the new things in DITA 1.3, so that includes troubleshooting topics. There are some new learning and training templates, and we also have schema-based templates as well. So, of course, the templates are available in XMetaL from the File menu under File New. So as you can see, there's now here's the templates for DITA schemas. So all of the DITA topic types and map types available as XSDs. Under DITA topics, here's a troubleshooting template, for example. Under learning and training, there's new stuff here, like the learning object map I know is new. I'm not sure what else is new. I'm not deeply familiar with the learning and training stuff, but let's just open the troubleshooting topic and see what that template looks like. For those of you who are familiar with it, you'll recognize this stuff. For those of you who aren't, trust me, this is troubleshooting stuff. All right. Okay, so next up, just a peek at some of the new things that will be visible inside the editor as you're working. So inside the editor, actual editing window, editing a topic, I mean. So there are a couple of new highlighting domain elements, the overline and the line through element. And so these are some examples of what they look like in XMetaL. If I turn the tags on, you can see that this is a new overline element, and you get to that by well, there's a couple of different ways. As I mentioned, there's the commands on the menu for inserting new. Do we have the highlight domain element on here? We might not have the highlighting domain element. Might not have the highlighting domain elements on here because they are also available on the toolbars. So we have new buttons on the toolbars for overline and line through. So overline is available there just by clicking, and there's a keyboard shortcut for it as well, Control-Shift-U. And that works as a toggle. So if you press the keyboard shortcut, it goes on and off and on and off. Same thing for line through. It's available here on the menu, and it has a keyboard shortcut. I'll just do the shortcut. So Control-L turns it on, Control-L turns it back off. And of course, there's styling in the editor, so it looks like what you expect it to look like. So that's those. There are new XML mention elements. There are several elements for creating. It's called the XML mention because it's used if your documentation is actually talking about XML. Then you may want to mark things up as mark text up in your content as being references to or comments about. It's hard to talk about this because it's so meta, but you may want to mark something up as being as talking about an XML element, and in that case you might want to mark up that name with some special markup that specifies that it's an XML element. And so you can do that with the new XML mention domain in DITA 1.3. We have styling in XMetaL, so if you have tags that are that use the XML element or XML attribute elements, then it's going to be styled in XMetaL, so you can see that there's some tags there. You know, generally, I don't know if you know about our philosophy for styling in XMetaL, but by and large, this is not really meant to be WYSIWYG in the sense of what you're going to see in your published output, but it's meant to be WYSIWYG-like and primarily as a helper to you, the author, so that you can see, even when you don't have your tags turned on, that there's something funny going on here, because you see that that's gray, so it must be something. So that's the idea here, and of course the angle brackets I think just make it look pretty. So you can apply. Here's what it looks like to apply that element. So let's use the element list this time. So I just did the keyboard shortcut to bring up the element list, and then select the XML element from the element list, and press Enter to apply that. And so there's what that looks like applied. Now I notice when I have my tags turned on that I actually had here so a tag applied that we don't currently have styling for, the XML PI tag. I'm going to delete that tag because what I did want to style that with is the XML attribute. So I'm just going to do the same procedure that I did for applying the XML element tag. So open the element list, go down to the XML at element, and press the Enter key, which will apply that markup to this text. Okay, there was a lot of meta there, and it will be probably entertaining to go back and listen to what I just said and see how much of it was actually syntactically and semantically correct. But that's an exercise for another time. So we did make several updates to the CSS. I think I probably have mentioned all of these. No, not quite all. I did mention these updates to the CSS for XML elements and attributes. There is a new troubleshooting note type in DITA 1.3, and that has a label. Just like other notes in XMetaL have labels, this one has a label that matches its note type. Troubleshooting note type is simply an ordinary note that has a type attribute of trouble. So that's the new. It's the new attribute value of trouble, which is new in DITA 1.3. So if you have that, then we have this. Highlighting elements I talked about. Oh, this is just a fix that we added to our CSS. It's not really a DITA 1.3 feature. The shortcut element has been around for a long time, but what's new is we added this tiny little underline right here on the capital A in Save As. So to look at the markup here, this letter A is marked up with the shortcut key, or the shortcut element, to signify that that is the shortcut key for this command. And so we didn't used to style that with an underline. Now we do. And I'm only mentioning it, as I said here, because I was the one who suggested that we fix that. And so that makes me happy. Okay, so finally, last thing I wanted to show you is kind of one of the biggest ones, and that is that we have support for scoped keys. So I'm going to pull up an example map that is actually created by Chris Nitchie, who is one of the principal architects of the scoped key feature. And the reason I'm going to use this map is keys are, I don't want to get into the complexity of keys here, but I do, at least at the very basics, want to show you that we have some support for scoped keys within our within the tool. So in order to do that, I'm sorry, but I have to show you some source code again, because I need you to see what this map that I'm going to be working with actually looks like. And now if you don't understand keys, then this won't help, but hopefully it won't hurt. But if you do understand keys, then this will have some meaning for you. So I'm going to look at this map that I have open right here in Notepad so we can see the text of it. Now this makes perfect sense, doesn't it? What we have here is essentially a map that has two topic groups that are almost identical, except actually what they have, they do each have a topic ref which is identical. So there's the topic ref in the first topic group, and here's the topic ref in the second topic group. Those things, those topic refs are identical. They reference the exact same topic, so there's only one topic in my that's referenced by my map, and that's this one here, concept.dita. So two topic groups referencing the same topic, but these two topic refs occur within topic groups that have different key scopes. So one has a key scope of DITA North America 2015, the other has a key scope of DITA North America 2014. By the way, Chris made this sample content in preparation for the DITA North America 2015 conference that we had a month or so ago. So the key definitions that are within this key scope set up different values for a set of different keys for set of different key values for the same key name. So in the first topic group, there's a key definition that says I've got a key called conference name, which is going to refer to this keyword. And the second topic group, I've got a key called conference name, which is going to refer to this keyword. They're almost the same, except one's 2015 and one's 2014. Same thing with a key definition that defines a link. So this one is defining a link to the hotel website where the conference was held in 2014, and the second one holds a link that shows that is the link to the conference hotel in 2015. Okay, so and the third key in each one is an image. So the first in the first topic group, we have a reference to an image of the Westin Hotel in Seattle, and in the second one we have a link to an image of the Hyatt Hotel in Chicago. All right, so one map, two topic groups, two sets of keys under different key scopes, but both referring to the same concept. So let's look what happens if we open this concept from the map in XMetaL from within the context of one topic group versus the other. So what happens is when XMetaL automatically in order to resolve the keys that it finds within a topic, XMetaL applies XMetaL resolves the keys based on how do I say it? I'm not sure the quite language to use here. XMetaL resolves the keys within the context of the location of the topic within the map. So when I open the concept from the first topic group, those keys are going to get resolved with respect to the key scope that is defined for the first topic group. And when I do that, all of the keys that get applied here are filled in with the values that apply to where's my? I don't see my href for my hotel link, but the map you can see is Seattle because there's the Space Needle in the background. Sorry, no, not that, but the image is the Space Needle. So that's the Seattle version of the map. Now, if I close that topic and reopen it from the second topic group, then I get the image. So the keyword that got used is the keyword that came from this key, and the image that got used is the image that came from this key. Now, I don't really know why oh yeah, the href just applies to but if you to see that this link is actually doing the right thing, if I do open referenced file here, this is actually going to open a browser that points to, is it? No, it didn't. Well, never mind. Forget about the links. Anyway, so yeah, so that's it. So the concept, the exact same topic, open from different context, is referencing different keys because it's using key scopes. Now we can look at those keys and see that these are. I think we can look at the keys and see that if I do nope, that's not going to work. If I look at the keys here, no, you know what? Let's just try. So let's look at the key dialog in XMetaL. So let's suppose that we wanted to insert another image of our own here. So let's just insert a new paragraph and now insert another image. And so let's insert an image using a key, and that'll give us the opportunity to have a look at the key dialog for XMetaL. So the key dialog, well, of course, since I'm within this key scope, it's sorry, back up. I want to create a new topic reference, which is at the top level of the map, which will then have access to both of these key scopes. And so I'm going to open this topic and insert a new element into the map here using a key ref. So here, my key dialog shows me all the key references, all the keys that I have available to me in the full map scope. So you can see that there are keys. So some of the keys, here's the keys that have the key scope DITA North America 2014. Here are the keys that have the key scope DITA North America 2015, and so on. So if I want to insert that image, for example, then say OK, then I get this one. But if I do the same operation again, insert an image, select a key, but this time select the 2014, then this time the key is referencing through the key scope of DITA 2014, and I get a broken image. Great. Okay, you know what? Let's call this. The point is, look at this dialog again. The point is, the key dialogs now have full support for key scopes. If the list of keys gets long, we have the ability to filter keys. So for example, if I just type, I don't know, hot here, then it filters out the keys that use the word hotel. Clear that, and I can see all the keys. So we have full ability to use keys as well as scoped keys. Yep, so that's it. All right, so having done that, that's all the demos that I had to show you. Here's where to get XMetaL if you're interested in getting XMetaL 10. If you're a new customer, you can download the trial from the website. It's right there front and center on www.xmetal.com. If you're an existing customer, then you will be able to get an upgrade from your channel manager. And that's it. So let me have a look at the questions. Okay, we do have a few questions here. So I'll answer the ones that I can. I can already see that there are a few questions on here that are not probably sort of outside the scope of what I want to talk about today, but I'll try to answer these questions and follow up with you afterwards for those of you whose questions I don't answer here. So one person says if you want to add, for example, English content inside an Arabic sentence, it would have to be inside a tag. I think the answer to that is yes. You need to have, if you need that text to be sort of an island of left to right text in the middle of a right to left blob, then you do need to have an element there so that you can tag that element, with the attribute that says this is a left to right bit. Let's see. Can you search reusable content on multiple maps, tops, folders in one operation? So, okay, so yeah. So can you use searching reusable content on multiple maps, topics, or folders in one operation, not just topics in one map at a time? I believe the operation is set up to work on the current map that's sort of the focused map in the map editor. So you can change the scope of that in the dialog to some extent, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to get all that you wanted to be able to do. So I will check up on that one and follow up with you by email on that. In results, can you sort by phrase so that all the main calculation panes are together? No, you can't resort the results pane by the content in the results, but you can. There is a sub-search. There is a search within the results pane filter that might help with some of those cases. And yeah, that's a good point. The comment was that way you can skip a set of phrases when you're checkboxing. So there's a question here. are we going to be doing Japanese, French, and German versions of XMetal? The current plans are that we will have a Japanese release for XMetal 10, but at the present time we do not have plans to create French and German versions of XMetal 10. And so I guess finally one last question: does XMetal 10 provide full support and compatibility for Windows 8 and 8.1? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is yes. Then one last question: are the new DITA features also available in XMax? The answer is that the DITA features, the features that are specific to working with DITA, have never been available in XMax per se. Those ones that are specific to or those ones that are not specific to DITA, but more generic XML capabilities of XMetal would apply to XMax. What would be an example of that? Well, nothing's coming to mind right now, but generally speaking, features that apply to DITA never apply directly to XMax because DITA doesn't have DITA, or XMax is not a DITA-aware tool per se. So the question is like, so clarification is it asking about like the overline and line through capabilities. So the ability to what would be available in XMax is the ability to have your CSS to render the overline strike through rendering within the editor view of XMax. So you do have that capability. The CSS supports that. That actually isn't new in XMetal. The ability to do that strike through and overline was already supported by XMetal CSS. What's new with DITA 1.3 is that since we have those elements, we added some CSS to the DITA customization that would display those elements that way. Okay, so that's all the questions that I'm seeing that are really relevant directly to XMetal 1.3. So as I said, there are a few questions. I do see some questions here, and if you asked a question that I didn't answer, then I will follow up with you by email and answer those questions for you. They're just not of general interest for DITA 1.3, so I'll get back to you on those. And so I just want to check our raised hands. Everything looks to be okay. So all right, so that's I guess that's it, everyone. Thanks very much for listening, and we look forward to hearing from you here at XMetal sometime soon. Have a good day.